Sentinels got dominated, and we need to talk about it. I know it's probably not as shocking a week after. You can rationalize it in your brain. You can thank my lack of a good upload schedule for it being a week after, but it remains that Sentinels were definitely favored in this game. Sentinels picked Lotus and got destroyed. NRG 13-4'd them on their own map pick, something that I think is very worrisome if we want to talk about Sentinels getting into Champions and making it far. Now, don't get me wrong. There was some Odin abuse. I know a lot of people have talked about that. I think if the Odin does get nerfed within the next 2 to 3 months, this series is probably the reason why. There are a couple of players that are just special with the Odin in terms of their spray control, how they're able to utilize it on multiple targets. I can think of Saucy. He was very, very good with the Odin. I think Brock may be one of those players that makes Riot kind of not really want to keep it at its current power level. We'll have to see. Regardless of the Odin, though, Sentinels just did not have a good game. Not only, obviously, did they get 13-4, but the 3-1 loss is something that is pretty bad, obviously, especially when you thought you were in this upper echelon of teams, and now NRG are knocking on the door as the second best team in Americas, for sure. I'm Lionzblade. We're going to go ahead and take a deep dive into how Sentinels lost to NRG, what they can fix, and what NRG did well. Make sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. Now, Sentinels are going to lose this bonus round, which kind of starts the snowball of losses. First, John sees Mata, sees a Fade Prowler, realizes that NRG seem to be very aggressive over on A, which causes Sentinels to speed up a little bit over towards the other sides of the map, C and B. They end up ending C, but here's the thing, and why Vice is so good, which I think we all know is that stall potential, but it's in action here. As you'll see right here, Zekin gets on site with Bang, but Bang is stalled right there with the Vines, Zekin stalled with the Paranoia, and now all of NRG are running over after that aggressive A push. Now everyone is in position, ready to deny this plant. Again, C is something where you're going to get spammed. You're going to have to go through all this post-plant utility. But the waves that NRG do it in, it's something truly remarkable. I think that this is something that if you're on, for example, a premier team that you take the game a little seriously, study this. How to throw the waves of utility properly, spam well to deny that plant. Because you'll see right here, Sentinels now, they want no part in this. They want to leave. But once they end up swinging here, Ethan is on a forward line. You'll see it right here if I can pause it correctly. And they're not looking towards Ethan. He's on such a kind of aggressive angle towards this. He's going to get both of these. And by the time Zelsus ends up, still, he actually gets off. It doesn't even plant. But by the time all these fights are over, it's a 2v4. Now, Ethan wins the round for them. Technically, he probably should have thrown the Bulldog back over to Brock, but whatever. I'm not going to blame the guy who just single-handedly pretty much won you that bonus round. Zelsus and John are now kind of stuck. There's 20 seconds left. You have to try and take a fight. You can't really pivot, but you aren't in a spot where you're going to be able to have a good fight. And you see it right here, NRG. Wonderful job. I mean, layering that utility genuinely was just a great, great job. Beautiful. Bonus conversion. Another buy round for Sentinels, and their game plan is decently simple. Have Zekin go into a site with a showstopper and make the space, get you hopefully a kill, if at the very least get some space, and then play a post plant. The only issue is that this round, especially, NRG are just beautiful with the blinds, and I do mean beautiful. So this first kill right here that completely disrupts Sentinel's game plan is because of a blind right here. If you'll notice, Zekin is full blind. His face is like the sun right now. He can't see a thing. He ends up dying to Scuba right there. Then the Fatal, which confirms after they reclear, hey, they're all here, out on C Mound. But the issue isn't even that NRG knows center all C Mound now. That's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is they have a minute left and no map control. If you'll like a minute left, they're in spawn and C. They've lost their entry duelist. They've lost the ult that they game planned this round about, but you have to reclear all of this space. And you'll see over here towards A, this is why you normally don't really have many 5-man site hits, honestly, because you need, in case something goes wrong, to have a pivot option. Here, Sentinels don't. They're forced to go all the way around here, then slow reclear. Make sure Sam isn't over here on Rubble. He's not. Now, slowly reclear. But guess what? The reason Sam isn't Rubble is because of that gun in his hands right there. They have a double Odin setup here. Pure pain and suffering. Look at this chip. It is absurd that this is professional Valorant. Zelsis does kill Ethan, which does even out the numbers, but again, Mata just spams through a smoke with the Phantom. You can't punish these spams effectively, and with like 10 seconds left, they finally make it into B. But I said before, this is the round about the blinds. Well, guess what? There are some more blinds to be had here. Zelsis is right here trying to cover any C rotates, and then obviously the people that are right there, Scuba and Brock, but Som, perfect paranoia. Literally, the perfect paranoia you could possibly have. There's nothing Zelsis can do. He dies, and even when John, after getting the kill on Som, tries to kind of step up, reinforce this gap in their defenses, he's not able to do it. He just goes 1-for-1 with Mata, and then the Odin just goes... Brock over here gets the kill and makes it 5-0. Sentinels call a timeout for this round, I assume trying to call around some of their 3 pivotal ultimates. You've got, obviously, the Visal, but also the Viper and the Fade. The round starts with Zelsis being instantly put on 1 HP because Brock just does a kind of spam that you go up. I like to call it just like a timing spam. In your head, you know exactly, when you think they're going to be. And guess what? It works out here. Zelsis now, 50 or so HP for the entire rest of the game. They go... fake a little bit towards C. Mata's here, but he has the wall. They try and end up tripping it out before going over back towards, yet again, the A bomb site, even with this bit of front B presence, as you'll see right here. They trip out the wall. They go back all the way over towards A. I'm going to be honest with you. Som has an Odin. If I was in this position in a ranked game and I had 2 Odins, one at each side of the map, that have spammed like all of my teammates, I want you to look at this. Not a single normal gunfight has been had. All of this chip onto Zekken, onto Zelsis, onto Narrate has been spam. All of it. None of this, again, even John and Banger chipped up a little bit, has been actual fair gunfights. It's all been spam. I'm getting canceled on Twitter if it happens to be in a ranked game, let me tell you. But not all hope is lost, as Sentinels are able to get the kill onto Som. Fade reveal right there is going to do that through the Viper wall, but Scuba goes ahead, drops the pit, and they think, oh, okay, we have Zelsis. We'll just go ahead and use this little Visal. We'll use the Steel Garden, get it out, and the Fatal. What are you going to do now? Scuba has a shorty, though, so he just kills John, and then some skilled gameplay happens. So Zekken doesn't check his close left as he goes up there, and Brock just gets 2 free kills after that. Well, Zelsis, again, beginning the round, he got spammed. He's now going to die. And again, this double Odin setup is beautiful. It really is, because no matter where you go, you're going to get spammed. I absolutely love how they play this map. I love it because I'm not playing against them. I'll put it that way. If I was playing against them, I would be very, very upset because they play it so well. I think right there, even the round went wrong for them right there. Som shouldn't have died, but I mean, you can see just and you're going to win the round. It is absurd. Now, I don't want to say that Odin spam is maybe helping NRG get away with some questionable decision making, but let's just say I'm not too sure how I feel about an op just running it down A, and he ends up getting revealed right there. Ethan is low. And I will give the Sen fans, the 2 that are still watching, a little bit of cope, which is this. There are some timings that you can take that will always be there. Some timings, some Odin spam is always going to be there. Odin spam off round start, for example. Some timings aren't always going to be there. Sometimes you get lucky with an intuition spam. Sometimes, as right there, you trade out the numbers. Sometimes you're not going to be able to hit that, right? The person's too far ahead or too far back, and that spam doesn't do anything. And I think a lot of these rounds were closer than they seem just because of those early advantages granted by the Odin spam. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that, again, sometimes this Odin gameplay will still be able to work. There's some things it's always going to work on, but it is maybe a bit more wishy-washy, if you know what I'm saying, game to game. It's not something you're going to be able to perfectly replicate every time because, again, some of those timings won't be there. So that is the one worry that I have. But other than that, I mean, they're playing extremely well. And again, I think the game plan itself was fine. It's just they did get, I don't want to say lucky, but they had some fortunate moments. Now, Sentinels did lose the bonus round, which is to be expected, but you're going to need to win the round after if you want any chance of not starting the lower finals losing your own map pick. Unfortunately, we know that they did. So with this, Narrate also picks up the Odin, and obviously it's very standard for Fades on Lotus. It's not, he copied them or something, no. But he wasn't able to find as much value as Brock was, and you'll see here, he actually ends up getting kind of sat down by Sam, as Brock, with an Odin of his own, finds a lot more value later into the round. And yeah, it's just not honest value, but it is what it is. Now, what I do want to point out though is as Zelsis is over here on C, Sentinels are forced to do 3A, 1B, which is decently standard, but this timing right here with Zekken, where I'm not sure if he ends up seeing Ethan right there. We can see it, but he backs up going over to B. It could have been for a couple of reasons. He could have thought they were going to pivot B after seeing Ethan. I don't know. But again, I talked about Narrate not finding as much value. Sam just kind of sits him down. Now, the reason I mentioned pivoting B is because that's what they do. Mata goes in, kind of gets baited because everyone else leaves. He's thrown in, gets his one, does his part, and then every other player ends up leaving, going to Baby Door. But Zelsis with the anchor gets one, backs up, makes it a 3v3. I've talked about Honest Valorant. I've talked about the Odin spam. Yeah, you can see there's not too much to say. Scuba goes back around to B main to try and help out his team. But again, Brock is 3 HP. The issue is that he can just spam, and you can't really stop that from happening. Now John is in a 1v3. And it's the most awkward 1v3 possible. There's someone at every single angle. You know that there's someone at every angle, and you can't do anything about it. He literally has to choose, okay, can I take a fight? Can I go defuse a spike? What do I do? It's an unwinnable situation. And yeah, I would not wish this on my worst enemy, who, I don't think my worst enemy is a pro Valorant player anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Sentinels end up going on to lose the game as well. Hope you liked this video. I'm going to try and do daily uploads for champions. Make sure to comment if you want a Demon 1 video at champs. It'll probably happen anyways, but I would like to see how interested you guys are. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.